We're live, I think. I think I pushed all the right buttons. Yes. Hello and welcome to another Dungeon Brush on the wrong day at the wrong time. But you may also notice that I've grown a second head. This is my lovely partner, Jen. Jen is going to be joining me to paint a miniature tonight. Before we get started, my phone is going to blow up. Or was that your phone?
That's fine.
Okay. Before we get started, there are a couple things I want to go over real quick that I go over at the beginning of every show. All the lovely shit that's all over the screen. First off, you will see in this corner, I do that wrong every time. I'll never do it right. In this corner, I got 2 progress bars. One, at the very top, is the donation goal for December. If you go to the Twitch page, twitch.tv/dungeonbrush, and you go to the About Me section, there'll be a big button that says Donate. And every donation this month is going towards replacing my hard drive that had all of my 3D printable minis on it. There was a spill that I may or may not be responsible for that destroyed my hard drive and thus took away access to hundreds of dollars worth of 3D files for printing miniatures that I was painting here on the show, and so I'm salty about it, but you can help replace that hard drive and some of the cost of paying someone much smarter than me to move the files from the old hard drive that doesn't work onto a new hard drive that does work by clicking Donate on the Twitch page. That goes towards our donation goal. That one. Below that, you will see the subscriber goal. We're doing a subscriber goal in December. If we can get 20 subscriptions, that is paid subscriptions on Twitch, or Prime subscriptions on Twitch, which I'll talk about in just a second, then I will be doing a special episode stream thing where I will be painting a miniature entirely by finger painting. No brushes, no sprays, except for the primer. I'm going to spray prime it, and then everything else gets painted with these. There they are. There. Finally, if you are watching the channel and you're enjoying what you're watching, consider coming over to Twitch, twitch.tv/dungeonbrush, and following the channel. That goes so far. That is so helpful, and I love it so very much when you click follow. And if you want to support the channel, you can do that by subscribing. You can do that by donating. And if you really, really love me, you can donate to the Venmo, which is scrolling across the screen right now. All of the money from the donate button, and the Venmo, this is hard, go straight back into the stream. They go into replacing the hard drive to get my minis back. They go into new paints, new brushes, more minis, better camera equipment, and so that I look less like a garbage dump. It all goes right back into the channel. I don't feed myself on it. I don't buy cigarettes with it. I do that other ways. But if you don't trust that I'm gonna not take that money and go get cocaine and like orgies with sex workers, then you can go to the About section on Twitch and find the Dungeon Brush Amazon wish list that has paints that I use and brushes and 3D printing stuff and camera stuff and video stuff and audio stuff and all the shit that I use on the channel, and you can buy stuff on that and it automatically gets sent to me. Somewhere on the Twitch screen, if you're on your computer, I think I got this set up, and if I didn't, then someone in the chat will tell me. I think on the screen somewhere there should be a button that will take you to an Amazon affiliate page if you want to buy some painting stuff for yourself. It's brushes that I use and recommend. It's paints that I use and recommend. It's various painting notions and gubbins that I recommend. You can go and get some for yourself. I get a little bit of a kickback for that, so that's another way you can support the show. Let's see, what else? There's a fun little slideshow. There it is. It's around there somewhere. God, that's hard. Showing some of the finished pieces of miniatures that we've painted on the show. I think there's a couple on there that I painted off stream because I was bored. But now you get to see all the lovely work that we do here on Ye Olde Dungeon Brush. So finally, that's all I got. That's all we're going to talk about. That we'll probably do that spiel. Like, I should just record that and play it as a commercial or something. But that's all of that. So let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. Tonight is going to be weird and fun. We were going to do this yesterday, but then we had some technical difficulties. So we're streaming on a Sunday, which I don't think I've ever done. And I have my lovely partner, Jen, who is going to join me to paint her very first miniature. We're going to see how terrible of a teacher I am.
How terrible a painter I am.
And how terrible of students we both are tonight. And we are going to be painting the same miniature, and that miniature is, drumroll please, the Dryad from Reaper. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a zoom in there. There we go. This is a Reaper Bones miniature. It's their Dryad. We're going to be painting the same mini. And at least to begin with, we're going to be painting it kind of the same way until Jen gets a wild hair up their butt and just completely leaves me in the dust. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Also, I get to play with my new toy. I got a wet palette finally. I'm joining the rest of the miniature painting world with a wet palette. So we're going to be playing with that and seeing how that works. The Amazon button is there. It should be. If it's not there, then I'll fix that at some point. Let's see. I want to fix. Actually, Jen, entertain them while I fix this. Do I don't know, shadow puppets or something. Why isn't my thing there? I should absolutely have the Amazon thingy there. Oh, are you talking about like the Gubbins thing that pops up on the screen?
I thought I saw it before.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know how to do things and stuff. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, the Amazon Blacklist is or Blacksmith is what you're looking for. It's on the if you put your mouse over the screen, it's on the right hand side of the screen. You can buy your own little paint gubbins and follow along in terrible painting. Oh, one last quick little update before we get started. I got results back from at least one of my paint competitions that I entered. I didn't win. Big surprise there. I'm still waiting on word from the other one. Probably didn't win that one either. But
It's rigged.
it's not rigged. People are better at this than I am. So with that being said, let's see. I'm trying to pick my brush that I want to start with. I'm being very picky and weird about it. Because, yeah, let's do this one. I like this one. It's shiny and metal.
Okay.
All right. We're going to start painting.
Okay. I'm excited. Here we go.
So, we're going to be treating this as though it is two models. Because, you won't be able to see it very well right now because it's all just black. But we have a girl growing out of a tree. It's a Dryad in the Dungeons and Dragons sense of a fey spirit locked in a tree. So we're going to basically be treating this as two different models. The tree model and then the girl model, and then there's a couple areas where they kind of blend together. So we're going to start with the easy bit, and that's the tree. And we're going to start with this brown right here. You're just going to dip your brush and just kind of rub it off right next to the pile there. And then you just start painting the tree.
Starting from the bottom?
I generally start like somewhere in the middle and work my way out, but that's because I'm all over the place in a giant mess.
Okay.
Also, that was way too much paint on that brush.
Do you want it kind of wet, or is it supposed to be kind of dry?
It should be pretty. So you want the paint thin, so wet, but you also don't want to pick up a boatload of it so that you're dumping paint into all the little details and obscuring them. You want coverage, but you don't want obscuring, which it looks like you're doing a good job.
Okay.
Generally speaking, for at least this part where you're just doing like a base kind of coat.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this brush already. I'm going to switch brushes. You want to generally try and keep the brush on a pull motion. If for no other reason as it keeps from hooking the bristles. It keeps from fucking your bristles up on your brush. And if you do find a spot where you've put a little bit too much paint, you can just take the brush and just move the paint around. Acrylics dry quickly, but not so quickly that you can't do anything. And if you get paint on parts of the model that you don't want it, don't worry. You're probably going to paint over it anyway.
Okay.
I hate this brush. I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to throw it away. Let's see. I'll just use this one. It's a little small for what I wanted, but...
Okay.
We did a zenithal highlight on this model when we primed it, which is where you prime it black and then from the top down spray it gray. That kind of like gives it a natural highlight, but it also shows you most of the details. And you want to make sure that at least you try to get as many of the details of that tree base coated, so that when we move on to the next color, you don't spot big spots that you missed and have to go back and go, oh damn, I missed that spot, which is something that I do a lot. I'm trying to teach you better habits than I have.
Okay.
And I know I keep putting my hand like right in your light.
You're okay. Okay, there's part of her hair in the back here that I'm trying to paint around.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just
Like right there?
just hoss over it.
Okay.
You're gonna end up painting over all this stuff, most of this stuff anyway, so
Okay.
no big deal. I am way off camera.
Oh, I'm not like watching you, so I can't tell you this stuff.
Yeah, you can't. Like you're normally the one that tells me to, Zach, get your ass back in camera. My painting table was not exactly set up for two people, so we're having some logistical getting used to's.
Okay. All right. So there's my.
There's more tree up here.
Yes. Okay. All right.
There's lots of tree.
Okay, but I'm.
The tree is kind of the biggest piece of this, which is one of the reasons we started there. We're gonna, go through and just kind of color block. Like the tree is brown, so we're gonna paint it brown.
Okay.
We're not gonna worry about shadows. We're not gonna worry about highlights. We're just gonna worry
Okay.
about brown.
Brown so far.
What can brown do for you?
It's definitely different than painting on a canvas
Uh-huh.
or paper, for
Yeah.
sure. And this paint dries rather quickly.
Sure does. So miniature painting paint is an acrylic paint, but it's a thin medium acrylic paint. It's far more liquidy than like an artist acrylic, which is a heavy bodied acrylic or a heavy medium acrylic. You don't have to do this, but I do it because I'm a fucking weirdo. I went ahead and painted up under the tree too because I'm a fucking weirdo. And even if people aren't going to see it, I like to paint it. You don't have to do that.
I think I did. I think I did that. Okay. I'm gonna try not to paint her hand. I don't know.
If you do end up painting
There's
her
like a
hand,
mushroom or something.
Where?
Like in her hand.
Yeah, the tree kind of comes up. So this, let me go ahead and do this real quick. This is a branch.
Oh, okay. All right.
Here.
So in between
And
her
then
thumb.
and then that is tree, and so you can kind of see where her thumb
Oh, fuck, I painted
wraps
her hand.
around the branch there.
I painted her thumb.
That's okay. We'll paint over it. So thin paints, small strokes.
Okay.
Just the name of the game is just deciding where the paint goes and only letting it go there.
Okay. Yeah, the surface area of painting a mini is deceptively large.
Isn't it? Like it'll trick you. And it's because we're putting down so little paint at a time. Like, you're doing these little tiny brush strokes, and they're not really covering very much. And then you have to accommodate for all the little curves and twists and wiggles. The base coating process is the longest and most boring part of the process, in my opinion. Don't at me. Now, can you see a difference in the spots we've painted brown over where the gray paint didn't get to, as opposed to the places you painted brown where the gray paint did get to?
Yes, I do think that. What did you call it?
Zenithal.
Zenithal highlighting.
I do not know why it is called that.
It sounds like something out of 40K.
It does. I think it's like named after a guy, maybe. The guy that invented it, maybe. So there were two things that I really had like focused on when I was choosing our color palette here. And that's one, that Dryads only live in living trees in lore, in the game, in the backstory. Dryads only live in living trees. So we wanted a brown that like didn't look dead. And also, I chose this brown because I only have 3. And we're going to use all of them. Little too heavy there. That's all right though.
How do you know if you put it on too heavy?
You start being able to see less detail
Okay.
because the paint fills in the details and then dries that way.
Some of these spots are hard to get to.
Yep. You are not wrong.
Okay.
Wet my brush a little bit.
Yeah? Am I missing anything?
I'm the wrong person to ask because I miss shit all the time.
Oh, I guess I could see the roots and stuff.
Every once in a while, it's good just to rinse your brush out, just to keep it wet.
Okay.
Because the water in the brush and the water on the palette both help to thin the paint. And the thinner the paint, the less opaque it is, which means the more layers you have to do. But thinner paint doesn't obscure details. And if you get to a point where you've got all the brown down that you want to get down, you can go ahead and just start picking up a little bit more brown, and then checking, making sure everything's nice and opaque. Basically doing a second thin coat. Using a slightly more delicate brush, so I'm moving a little bit slower than you are.
There's just lots of cracks and crevices to try to get
Truly, very true. Now she has like this, you pointed this out to me earlier, this kind of vine that is running up through her hair.
Yeah, are we gonna make that brown?
Yep, we're gonna do that the same color as the tree.
Okay.
And we're gonna make sure it transitions into the hair in a very smooth and natural way, but we're gonna do that when we paint the hair.
Oh man, my hands are so shaky.
Choke up a little bit more towards the ferrule, kind of like you're writing with a pencil. Let's see, I still got a little bit on this tall branch to do.
I can't tell what is her hair and what is the vine.
That's okay.
Okay.
Because it's all going to kind of blend and transition together in the end anyway.
Okay.
There's a weird thing back here I'm trying to get. Like where her leg join, where her right leg joins to the tree. It's got a weird shape to it. And if you get paint on her or on her hair, that's okay. Because, again, we're going to blend all that together.
Okay, good, because I just totally painted her hair an accent.
That's fine. As a matter of fact, we're going to paint her on purpose here in just a second. There's just one little spot on this fucking branch I can't get paint in. Alright. So, let's see.
Okay.
Once you get to a point where you're pretty sure all your brown is done, there's a little bit in that crack right there. You're just kind of just give it a, you know, I'll look over, see if there's any bald spots. I find them all the fucking time. I am so bad about missing huge sections of my mini.
Did you just lick and paint again?
Yep. I was losing my point. Acrylic paint is water-based and therefore perfectly fine to put in your mouth. I hope. Oh, thank you, Katie. You are the actual best.
What happened?
Katie just subscribed for month number 2.
Awesome.
So we are now up to 11 subscribers because resubs count. 11 subscribers towards our 20 subscriber goal, which will be finger painting a miniature.
I am a 12-year-old boy.
There's a reason that you're awesome. All right.
So I went up as far as I felt comfortable with the fine.
I went up. Let me see. Where'd you end up going? That's about. I went up maybe just a little bit higher.
To like have it blend in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So here's what we're gonna do now. So where her right leg meets the tree.
Okay.
Right here. Get in camera. We're just gonna kind of feather some brown up the leg, just a little bit, not quite all the way up to the knee.
Can I do this with just a wet brush, or do you want to get my paint on the brush?
You want a little paint because you want to bring some brown up the leg.
Okay.
So I'm gonna come up almost to her knee on her right leg, and I'm gonna do the same thing on her right arm, just about halfway up to the elbow. Paint her brown. Now it's just going to look right now like we're just completely obscuring her hand.
Okay.
But don't worry, we're going to fix it.
I have faith in you.
I'm glad somebody does, because I'm making this shit up as I go. And then finally, there's a spot here where the tree, where like her thigh and her right butt cheek are coming out of the tree. And you want to paint. I'm gonna paint that around her butt, taking about half of her butt cheek and up her side about to her hip bone. Right about there is what I did.
Okay.
And then I'm going to rinse my brush. You learn to love the taste of paint, and then you learn to lie about it. Because you don't actually learn to love the taste of paint. Paint is terrible tasting.
Okay. Okay. So her arm, right?
Yeah, about up to her elbow, and her leg from down here.
Okay.
Yeah, about About halfway up her knee is what I did. I basically wanted it to look like she'd stepped in mud. At this point, it'll look different once we get a little farther into the process.
Okay, and on the other side too, right?
Yeah, uniformly. I did my drink. There it is.
All right. Yeah. Muddy hand, muddy leg.
Yeah.
Muddy butt.
Muddy butt.
Okay.
Mud butt.
Mud butt.
All right. Now,
Yeah,
what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do now?
Okay.
Okay, now we're gonna do some dry brushing. Have a dry brush.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do for the dry brush is we're gonna just take the very tip of the brush and dip it in that second brown tone, in the slightly lighter brown tone.
Okay.
You're just gonna get just the very edge of the bristles, and then you're gonna use your paper towel and just get most of that paint back off.
Okay.
So when you're going back and forth, you just want very little paint left on the brush. That should be good.
Thanks.
And then you're just going to quickly move the bristles over what you've already painted, barely kind of scraping across them.
How do I know if I don't have any paint?
And you won't see any color change.
Okay.
We basically just want to get this lighter brown on the top edges, the highest points of the mini. And that is including her hand. And you want to do this kind of where you painted her skin with that first brown.
Okay.
And it's just going to lighten that brown up a little bit. And if you don't see a lot of it, that's okay, because we're going to end up doing it again.
Okay.
This is our first degree highlight. And it just brings a little bit of a dusty brown.
Can you notice the difference with what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first one's always very subtle.
Okay.
And again, if you get paint on her or her hair or her hand, it doesn't matter. This is why we start on the inside, is because we're going to end up painting everything on the way out again.
Okay.
And if you don't know if you've got paint, go down here and do your dirt a little bit, and just to check.
Oh, yeah, I don't have any paint.
This isn't exactly the lightest brown in the world. It's not the easiest thing in the world to see. And then I like to do a second pass, all from the top angle, just to give just the top of everything a bit more of the lighter tone than everything else. All right.
Okay.
Okay, now we wash, and we want the tree to look alive. We want a living looking tree. That parchment paper is just not staying down.
Can we pour some water on it?
Pour it.
Over here?
Yeah, just a little, just a tiny bit. All right, that's good. Just kind of smear it around a little bit just to re-wet the sponges underneath. Anyway, okay, so we talked about we want that tree to look alive, and living trees have green tone in them. So we're going to do a wash, but we're going to wash this brown tree with a green wash. We're going to be using Citadel's Athonian Camo Shade, which is kind of an olivey green. Now with this one, it's a bit of a different technique. You take your brush and you just dip in pretty deep. I like to do about 2/3 of the bristles. Then you just scrape along the edge, and that empties, the excess. It's a very thin paint. And then you just get in here and slop it on. Make sure everything,
just slop it on there.
Everything you've painted so far, just give it a good bath in the wash. It's okay if it comes out a little shiny. It's okay if it's a little bit pools in the recesses and dips and dives. That's what we want, because this is going to be creating a little bit of shadow for us. But it's also going to kind of tint everything ever so slightly green. To make it a little bit more alive, a little bit more healthy. And because this is the first wash we're doing, and we've only really painted the tree so far, it does not matter if it's sloppy. You can get it everywhere if you want.
Okay. Because I feel like I'm being very sloppy right now.
That's fine. Sloppy works for washes. Washes and contrast paints. Get sloppy. Now, I like to go through, once I've washed everything, and kind of like find some spots that I really want that wash to accentuate. Like down here in the trunk, there are these big deep recesses.
Mm-hmm.
And just tap some of that wash in there.
Well, this really brings out a lot of the detail.
Sure does. All right.
Okay.
When you're done with that,
Wow. That looks pretty cool.
you done with the wash?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I'm just admiring my own work here.
Do it. Admire that work. All right, now we're going to go back to our pointy brush.
Okay. Pointy brush. Got it.
And we're going to go back to that first brown,
It's such a technical name.
isn't it? And we're going to paint the knife brown. Now,
The whole thing?
The whole thing. It's got like vines across it, and if you want to get real fancy, you can just not paint the vines, but we're going to paint over them anyway. It doesn't really matter.
And the strap and everything too?
There's a strap.
Well, oh no, never mind. Those are her fingers.
Those are her fingers. Yeah, basically, the knife that she's holding is just going to end up being a sharp stick.
Okay. Yeah. So Dryad, so.
A little bit too much paint there. There we go.
You're off camera.
I always stay that way. And the reason we didn't paint this brown before is because I want to wash this differently.
Okay.
So that it stands out.
Okay.
We want it to stand out against the background of the tree.
It's a different kind of pointy stick than the tree.
Well, it's no longer attached to the tree.
Therefore.
So it's not going to have the same like living wood feel.
Okay. Right. My stick is brown.
Stick is brown. Excellent. Alright. Now, we're just going to... Yeah.
It doesn't taste good.
Well, that's how you know you haven't rinsed it out well enough.
Okay.
You have to rinse it out more. And then you lick it to put the point back in it.
Okay. I have a pointy
All right.
brush.
Let's look and see where we're at. It's going to take a second for that wash to dry.
Okay.
So what I think we can do is we can start working on the skin.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. We're going to do... Yeah. We're going to do her a little pale.
Yes. I think that'll help bring out the greens.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So we're going to first do Army Painter's Barbarian Flesh. Because it's a nice pinky flesh tone. And before you start painting it, dip your brush in the water.
Okay.
Pick up just a little tiny bit of the paint. And then really like draw it out to make sure that it's smooth and flowing. And then you don't want to start on her face.
Is that too watery?
A little bit too watery, yeah. Pick up yeah. A little bit more paint there. Now, you don't want to start on her face.
Okay.
I tend to start on the center body. And you want to just start painting her. Now, ideally, you want black showing through that flesh tone.
Okay.
So you don't want to lay it on thick. Because if your paint's going on proper smooth, then you're going to have to do more than one layer anyway. I promise, faithful viewers, that one of these days I am going to paint something, I am going to paint a mini that isn't a naked woman.
To be fair, I chose the naked woman.
That is fair, yes.
Oh no.
With the flesh tone,
It's bleeding into my wash.
that's okay. Everything's going to get a second coat, third coat, ninth coat. With the flesh tone, you just want to come right up to the edge of where you painted her skin brown.
Okay.
So you don't want to cover the brown with the skin tone, but you want to get right up to the edge of it. Because we're going to do a blend there that is neither going to be brown nor the flesh tone. We're going to do a green blend.
Cool.
And we need some transition. Again, I could be doing this entirely wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. And when you start running out of places, like I've got pretty much the front of her torso done. After I do a few paint strokes other places, I'm going to come up and I'm just going to put very thin, very, very thin coats on her face.
Yeah, you need a really pointy brush because
Uh-huh.
there's so many little tiny bits and pieces.
You are correct. That is why we use pointy brushes. What?
I feel like mine looks like such crap compared to yours.
What?
Look at it.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's absolutely fine.
Alright.
You're getting the right translucency, which means all that means is you just have to do more than one layer,
Okay.
which is good. That's a good thing. I tend to go back and do the same spot repeatedly, rather than I think I just painted my microphone a little bit. Sorry for that horrific noise, everybody out there watching. I tend to do like the same spot over and over again, which gives me, I'm covering less area than you, but I'm getting more opacity than you.
Okay.
Whereas you're doing broad areas, which is, generally speaking, the right thing to do. But, everyone...
Oh, I just got it on my tree.
It's okay. It's just paint. We can paint over it.
That's true.
Get in there and get her neck. She does have a neck, so make sure you get in there and get that neck.
Oh, dang. Okay. Where is it? I can't see it.
It's in there.
Okay.
Wet my brush a little bit. Yep, that was still full of paint.
There.
Sorry.
You're fine. I'm painting her hair too.
That's fine. I did too.
Okay.
If you start on the inside you will paint the things on the outside, but you have to paint those anyway. And if you start, as you paint the stuff on the outside, you're not really going to be getting the stuff on the inside. So it works out.
Are you on? You're off. You're off
Yeah,
camera.
I'm off camera.
Oh, you should tell them the interesting facts we learned about dryads today.
Ooh, yeah. So I didn't really know much about dryads before we decided to do this. So before we started streaming, I did a little homework and learned things. Like, I learned that dryads are made because of a punishment. Archfays will bind lesser fae spirits to trees as punishments. Normally, punishments for getting hot and bothered by mortals. And forbidden loves and things like that. And basically, the only way to kill a dryad is to truly kill a dryad is to kill the tree that she's bound to.
I liked the part about sex slaves.
Oh yeah, dryads collect sex slaves. They're normally very shy and reclusive creatures. They just kind of stick to their tree and their little area of the forest until they see some mortal passing by that's kind of hot and be like, I want that. And so they will charm that person and make them their sex slave for as long as they want, or until the person snaps out of it, which can sometimes take years. Because Reaper minis are typically on the smaller end of the scale, this might be the smallest butt that I've painted yet.
The proportions are very nice, though.
Yeah. Reaper does good sculpts. They don't do great molds. And, they're kind of the oldest name in the game, so, they know how to make a mini. But their molding process, especially for the Reaper Bones line, just isn't great. And it's mostly the materials that they use. This plastic that they use for bones just isn't top-notch. It's essentially... It feels like painting carved hot glue. Don't let yourself be tricked into thinking, all right, well, this is taking too long. I'm just going to slap down one big thick coat. Don't let yourself do it.
Oh, no.
I do it sometimes because I'm impatient and I regret it every time. Also, don't be afraid to flip the mini upside down.
Okay.
She has a handle. Use it.
That is true.
I went a little thick on the underside of her, on like her left side there, but that's because nobody's gonna see that. So if it's a little rough in the texture, that's okay.
So putting the paint on too thick will give it a bad texture?
It'll give it a bad texture and it'll take away detail. Because these are so small, the name of the game is detail, is showing detail on a micro scale. And so the last thing you want to do is lose any of that detail because you put paint on too thick.
Alright, flipping upside down.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. How is she looking?
Looking good. You still got a couple little, translucent spots there.
Okay.
So, you know, just keep going with thin coats until she is a nice uniform color. Don't worry about shadows and highlights just yet. We haven't quite finished. I always end up with translucent spots on the arms because those are the spots that, like, I don't typically go over and over again while I'm doing them. So my arms tend to have some gray spots. Something I'm working on. All right.
Okay.
Here's
Making
something.
sure that I'm on the thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see, like, I've got these dark shadows on the arms from just being too translucent there. Gotta get in there and get that hand.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot. Well, no wait, because that hand's brown. You want me to wait?
Yeah, don't bother with the brown hand yet.
Okay.
But the one around the knife, I have not yet really. Gave it a quick little brush, but.
Oh, let's see a spot that I totally missed.
Oh yeah, they happen. They happen all the time. It's practically a brand for this channel at this point. Alright. Starting to have some naked ladies in trees.
Yes. I'm all about that. What do you think?
I think right here,
Okay.
see how it's a little gray?
Darker, yeah.
Yeah, just hit that a little bit with a nice thin little coat. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush out. I'm probably not done, but I'm going to pretend that I am. And then I'll find like 3 things that I missed.
What about her face?
Because
mine looks a little gray.
Yeah, nice and easy. Be very careful that you don't fill the eyes in.
I just did.
Okay, so what you do
Hang on.
is you take a brush with no paint on it, and then you get in there and you feather the paint down with a brush with no paint on it, and that pulls that paint out of the eye sockets.
Okay.
But you want to do it while the paint is wet. Actually, I see a little spot, speaking of eyes, that I can put a little bit more paint. That's typically why I like to do the face with, like, after I put paint somewhere else. So I've taken a lot of paint off the brush.
Oh, her little ears.
Oh right, her ears. I forgot about her ears. Get some of that peachy peach.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's an ear or a flower, but I
I
know
was
there's an ear. over
literally
there.
just thinking the same thing.
I think there's an ear. Well, it is now. I'm turning it into an ear.
Okay, I'm actually just going to do all of that as flowers.
Okay.
Okay. Now, here's the fun part.
Okay.
You're going to take your brush,
Okay.
get it very pointy.
Okay. Do you want my pointy brush? Because I have a super, super tiny pointy one.
For now, the pointy tiny one may suit you a little better.
Okay.
I just did this with the same brush, but I'm a little bit more used to this than you
Okay.
are. So you want to get just the tiniest little bit of paint on the tip of your brush
Of
the skin tone.
Okay. The tiniest bit.
The tiniest little bit. And then we're gonna make strokes from the skin tone into the brown. We're gonna kind of scratch paint from the skin tone into the brown a little bit. You don't want a lot. You don't want to really... Here's a good spot that I haven't done a lot to. Kind of want to scratch it down.
Going
Going from the skin tone into the brown.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Basically what that does is it takes the what tends to be a solid line between the two colors and blurs them a little bit.
Okay. Is anybody watching?
I see 2 people are watching.
Woohoo!
We're famous.
Oh no! Okay. I don't know how I did that.
I don't know how you did that either, but I'm impressed.
Child-proof my ass. Okay, I'm
I
just...
see a big old spot that I missed. See? Told you. It's basically a brand. I'm gonna opaque that up, because as much as we may not want it to be, we're painting naked ladies. The butt is going to be a focal point.
Yeah, my butt's too super brown right now.
So, you know, when somebody picks this miniature up to look at it, they're going to look at the butt because she's naked.
Right?
It is the world that we live in.
Oh my, that looks terrible. Let me see your butt. Oh, you did mostly butt. You did mostly people butt.
I did.
Okay. Going to try to copy you. Oh my. I lost a lot of detail of the butt by painting it brown. Oh well.
Yeah. Sorry, the wash will bring a lot of that back,
Okay.
which we're not going to do yet.
Okay.
We're going to go back to our tree.
Okay, back to the tree.
Back to the tree. And we're going to go back to the dry brush.
Okay, dry brush. That's this one. Okay.
And this time, we're going to use the 3rd brown, the super tan. And we're going to use so fucking little of it. And we're going to brush so lightly and slowly so that you don't accidentally paint her. And if you do accidentally paint her, there's only 1 layer of paint, so we just got to hit her with a little bit more flesh. So it's not that big of a deal. And you're going to go light, and you're going to go pretty slow, especially when you're near the flesh parts. Late to the party. Hey, Greta. Hey, Greta. You call a mini painter with 2 heads 2 mini painters. This is my partner, Jen.
Hi.
And she's painting her first mini tonight.
Oh, clumped it up real bad right there.
It's all right. Everything that we do on the mini, we do like 6 times. Okay. So if there's a little bit of a mistake, it is not hard to fix. The farther away you get from her, too, you can be a little bit more aggressive with the brush just to kill some time.
Okay.
Greta says hi.
Hi, again.
And where her hand wraps around the brush, or wraps around the tree, you can actually dry brush her hand too, because it is also that same wood. Now, it would have been smarter, it would have been easier to do this dry brush before we painted the skin.
Oh, yeah?
But we would have had to wait for the wash to dry.
Hmm. Okay.
And you're going to get it all over the hair because you got to do that vine up the back.
Okay. Dry brushing is very neat.
Mm-hmm.
It
So as the
brings out
brush
so much detail.
passes, it only brushes the topmost parts of the mini. I'm gonna come back here and get the bit where it becomes her leg. Do a little bit more where it becomes her hand. Now we are going to do something
camera as well.
to highlight that that is her hand as well,
Okay.
but not yet. Now we also want to dry brush the knife a little bit.
Okay.
Come back over here and get a little bit more paint.
I would be super geeked to just paint trees now forever. I don't even need anything.
Oh yeah,
else.
wait till you
I'm
paint
super
rocks.
Excited.
Now I want to go a little bit heavier on the dry brush on the knife. I really want that to be tan, because we're going to do a darker wash on that, and it's really going to bring it down. But it's also going to make it look like a different wood.
Okay, so you want yours pretty dark.
Yeah, I went pretty heavy. But I didn't do it by putting more paint on the brush. I did it by brushing more.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm just going through at the very tops and just doing a little bit more dry brushing than is necessary, really, on the parts that are parts of the mini that are facing upwards, where the light is falling on them.
Okay.
And at this point, we've almost completely color blocked.
What does that mean?
It means that we've got our basic colors down.
Oh, exciting. Okay.
We're almost done. We just need to do the
So
hair.
that's like the base colors?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're actually, except for like touch up and fixing shit, we're actually almost done with the tree.
Excellent.
I
Okay,
think
how
that-
does my tree look?
I like it. I think you could hit that bit,
Little knob
yeah,
thing?
that side, including under that knob, which I could also actually hit a little bit more. There we go. So we're going to do the hair in just a second, but before we do the hair, we're going to wash the tree again.
Ooh, okay. Let me get in this little crack area because I didn't get in there.
We're going to use a different wash this time. Mostly because I want to try a different wash. Because I've never used this wash before. Okay. Will you hand me one of the little egg cup palettes there?
The clean one?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're going to be using Army Painter's Military Shader.
Fancy.
Which is a dark green. And we'll use the same big brush, big fat brush.
Okay.
And it's the same technique out of the egg cup. You just use the side of the egg cup to just scrape your paint off. And then we're just going to go through and we're just going to get the whole tree wet again. And again, this is really going to give it a lot of green.
Oh, I like it though, especially with that tan underneath it.
Mm-hmm. The wash tints the tan and makes the tan green.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Can everyone see how cool that looks?
Probably not.
I'm super pumped about it. Trust me, it looks pretty cool.
So Jen, would you believe me if I told you that you've already been at this an hour?
No. No.
We've already been at this an hour. There's a timer right there.
Holy shit.
Don't wash the knife green.
No. Yeah, because you said you wanted to do that.
We're gonna do that different. Wow, we've used up a lot of that wash already.
That's my fault. Well,
No.
we're painting for two.
Yeah. And I'm always trying with the dropper paints to put less out than I need. It's always better to have to put a second dose out than waste a fuckload of paint.
Okay. Do you think I should just leave that alone now?
Turn her around. You should come up the hair.
Oh, okay.
And make sure you get a good dose on the hand. So it's really going to lend itself to what I have planned there.
Okay.
just good habit to lick your brush after everybody's done. The apprehension with which you did that was great.
Like, I don't know.
I don't want to.
Well,
All right.
okay.
Now let's have some fun.
So I can definitely tell what you were talking about, how the paint, if it dries.
If it dries before it gets to the mini,
Yeah.
it
Mine's
gives it a little
grainy.
bit. Gives it a little bit of a grain. Now, even like, I won't say like top level painters, but like the type of the level of painter that I aspire to be, which is like pretty good for an amateur. You're almost always going to see that grain.
Okay.
Now, we're going to do the hair.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
We're going to start
green
with
hair, right?
Elysian green. And we're just going to go straight out of the pot.
Okay.
So, dip.
Are we using the fat one?
Yeah, just your pointy brush.
Okay, the pointy one.
Doesn't have to be your tiny, tiny pointy one, but your pointy one. You just want to do a little dip. Boop.
Okay.
And then grab some paint. And roll it off. I may have gone just a little wet there, but that's okay. More thin coats is better than one thick one.
And you're starting.
Again, I start generally center mass.
Okay.
At least I try to. I try to remember to start center mass, because that gives me just, like, generally the center of an object is what's going to get the most paint applied to it. Because, you know, moving up and down the mini. So if you plop some paint right in the middle and it looks like shit, you decide to switch paints, you haven't ruined it. Because you can just paint over it. Fuck.
You could just paint over it?
Yeah, I can just paint over it. You'd be surprised. Like, we painted all of that peach skin tone, that light skin tone, over black.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a really pretty green, and it's a shame I don't use it more often.
All right, I would like some green, please.
Sorry. Over there hoarding paint.
Now we need one of the paint holders.
Yeah, but I put them away somewhere. I don't know where they are. All right. Quick tip.
Okay.
Right here along the face.
Yes?
Use the very tip of the brush when you're next to something, but if it's in the air, kind of use the side of your brush. Do you see the difference in what I'm doing there when I'm painting down here versus when I'm painting up here?
Yes.
Okay. That'll keep you from accidentally painting the face. And it just, move your brush slow. Take your time. The mini isn't going anywhere. You have a hold of it. It has a handle.
Hair is hard to paint.
It helps to paint along the lines of the hair rather than across them.
Yeah. For sure.
And again, it's just move the brush slow. Take your time. Don't rush.
I'm painting over the flowers.
So am I.
Okay.
That is perfectly okay.
Is this kind of the same thing, like just keep going little bit, like try to cover up the gray and the black? And
Yep. Just a little bit at a time.
Yeah. This is really fun. And it does surprisingly like pass the time. Like I had no idea that it had already been an hour.
Oh yeah. Just all of a sudden your entire day will just disappear doing this. And I call those good days. And there's some twiggy bits in her hair.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't
And like her hair kind of weaves in and out of the twiggy bits. So if you get green on shit, that's okay, because we can always just go back and reimagine like what is twig and what is hair.
Okay.
It's perfectly fine. Get paint everywhere that you don't want it. Because we're also going to be doing transitions in the hair, transitions on the skin tone, and all kinds of shit. We are not even close to finished. Just getting the color on is just step one. That's about where I want the hair for now. So while you're getting a little bit further along, I'm going to start grabbing some brown and just painting in some of these twiggly bits.
Okay. I'm still working on getting the hair green without any gray.
That's fine.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
Oh no, my eyes did that thing where if you
Where they
focus too
where they
hard-
wobble?
Yes.
Yeah, mine do it all the time. It's just something you get used to in mini painting, honestly. I got a couple skin spots I want to touch up while I'm here. The bit that I missed down here, and it looks like she had a really bad pube haircut. Like she was trying for one of those little hearts, but then was like way off center. And there's a big shadow on her back right there. Feeling good about your green hair?
Yeah, except I saw a spot where I totally painted her arm brown. Like, there's a big blob.
Oh yeah, those happen. You can absolutely just go in with those and bloop, bloop, bloop. Fix them up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing spots that I just didn't get the coverage I wanted. Sometimes you really can't see what you need to touch again until the paint starts to dry, which is a giant pain in the butt.
You're off camera.
I know. Look. You painted her arm brown, I painted it green. Alright. So at this point...
Yes, I'm ready.
Are you? Are you?
Yes.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get. Okay.
Alright, at this point we're going to go in with a slightly darker green, but still a very vibrant green. Actually, no. We're going to do it like this. We're going to do it differently.
Okay.
We're going to take that green. Yeah. Put just a couple drops here.
That's very wet.
That's very wet, yeah. That's okay.
Okay.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to grab some bright green.
Yes.
And then brush it off on the drier part of the palette. And you do not want a lot. You want like a little tiny bit.
Okay.
Because what we're going to paint are the little viney bits on her knife.
Okay.
And you want just the tip of the brush to do the work.
So, can I ask why we didn't dry brush the viney tips?
Because we don't want any of that dry brush to get on the wooden blade underneath it.
Got it.
This dry brushing is great for bringing out elevated detail, but it is imprecise. It's just, it's kind of a weapon of mass destruction, so to speak. It casts a wide net. That's the metaphor I've been trying for. So you're just painting these little viney bits with just the very tip of the brush. And you can see the difference in the detail from where you dry brushed it, where it's kind of got that rough brush stroke texture, to where you're doing it like this, and it's much more smooth and even. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
It looks very different.
Okay. Yeah, I can see why you get real quiet with like a teeny tiny.
You kind of have to like hold your breath and focus and pray a little bit. We're almost to the really fun part.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm trying to still get my vines.
Take your
I'm
time.
not awesome at this.
Take your time. Nobody asks you to be awesome at it your first go.
Okay.
Your first mini already looks miles and miles and miles better than my first mini ever did.
Well, I have an excellent teacher.
Who? Point him out to me.
He's right there.
What a dick.
We're done.
It's true. But that's alright, because we're only dumb for like 2 people. Alright, now we can do the fun part. We're going to reach up here. We're going to look for... That's mid-brown. It's purple tone. Flesh wash. There we go.
Yes, I'm down with that.
We're going to give this a hell of a shake, because it tends to come out a little glossy if you don't fucking just beat the hell out of it.
What's it called? Flesh shade?
Flesh shade or flesh wash.
Okay.
let's get our wash brushes.
Okay.
And we're going to wash the skin. Just the skin. So you want to be a bit more precise, and you want to move your brush along the lines of the body.
Okay.
Now
I'm
this.
gonna watch you do it.
Okay,
before I-
this goes on very smooth.
Okay.
That's why I really love this army painter. But like, you know, if you're doing the leg, you want to go along the leg, not across the leg. Make sense?
Yes.
You know, if you get a little bit on the tree or you get a little bit in the hair, that's not a big deal, but you want to try and keep it as just on her skin as you can. This is going to give her a little bit of a tan. But we're going to pale her back up. Back to our fair elven maiden look that dryads tend to have. Now, there are two places where we're going to break my rules about going across the body and going nice and smooth.
Okay.
That is the back of the hand. The back of the hand, go sideways. Go across.
Okay.
Because you really want the lines in the back of the hand to stand out. Hey Ryan, good to see you, man. Yeah, you kind of have to do a little bit of eyeball training. The staring at the tight space does tend to make your eyes go a little fuzzy. And see, as that wash settles down into the softer and curvier parts of the body, it gives it already a natural shadow. Oh, and the second place that you were going to break the rules is the butt.
Oh.
Dab paint into the butt crack. There you go. Let me see. Perfect. And then the lightest application across the face. I'm pushing you off camera. I'm such a dick.
You are not a dick.
And you do want to make sure you get it down in the eye sockets, but so light that you don't want to flood the eye socket.
Like that? Or more?
That's great. And then all of a sudden, as that paint settles and starts to dry, all of a sudden your Dryad has a face. And a mouth and eyes. And curves. Like, I think just doing the wash gives them an extra cup size. Not that our Dryad here needed it.
She's pretty perky.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're a fey creature trapped in a tree.
Okay. Does that look okay?
Let's see.
Too much? Too little?
I think that looks pretty good. You need a little bit on the hand there, on like the web of the hand. Where my hand is gray, you need a little wash. I spray painted my hand earlier when I was doing the highlights. Now, we want this is our next bit. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic. I put the mic in a different spot so that we can get both of us talking. And I've hit it several times. Now, we're going to take this brown wash.
Okay.
And we're just going to do the knife.
Not the viney bits?
Well, you kind of have to.
Or all of it? Okay.
The whole knife, yeah. And this is going to give it a much different tint than the tree or the skin. But it's also going to give it really deep shadows in the midst of all those little viney bits, which we are going to bring back up with a highlight as soon as it dries.
That good?
Turn it this way. Yeah, that's good. That looks good to me.
Okay.
All right. Swish and flick.
Neat. We back to this one?
Nope, not yet. We
Okay.
got one more wash to do.
Okay.
We're going back to our green wash. Actually, I want to use Army Painter green wash because I have never used it.
All kinds of new things today.
Shake the fuck out of it. Yeah, hand's generally not supposed to be that color, but spray paint will do that to a man.
I would like everyone to notice the fantastic fingernail polish job here.
She did wonderful.
Yes.
It's a rosy glitter. I'm a big fan. Now, this green wash is gorgeous. One, we're going to do the hair.
Yay! Okay. I was excited about that.
This is
You
going to
told
give
me
us
about it.
a nice dark green shadow in the hair. Look at that.
Oh, pretty.
It's got a little pooling around the flowers there. There we go. And you can go pretty heavy here.
Okay.
This wash goes on real smooth.
Do I want to keep it away from the vine that's in her hair, or no?
I kind of went to the side. I kept it off of the vine.
Okay.
I mean, I got a little on the vine, but that's all right. A little never hurt.
You're so much quicker at this than I am.
Practiced. Greta says that she's really digging your polish with the silver tips.
Oh yes, my fancy homemade French manicure thing.
I like it. I think the silver French manicure is pretty rad. I can get a little bit more, I think, under here.
Ugh, she's so pretty. I love her.
All right, now.
Okay, how does mine look? Too much right there?
No, it's all right.
Okay.
Because it's gonna calm down as it dries.
Okay.
All right, and speaking of drying, we're gonna use that as an opportunity because pretty much our whole mini has wash on it at this point.
Yes.
We're gonna take this opportunity to take a little break.
Yes.
We're gonna go indulge in our vices, i.e., we're gonna have cigarette, and we'll be right back. By the time we're back, the wash should be dry, and we can move on to the complicated, like, fiddly bits of finishing these minis. I figure we've probably got maybe another hour and a half.
Wow, really? That long?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So we will be right back. Hang in there. Read the ticker that's going across the bottom of the screen. That will go over the sub goal. That'll go over the donation goal. That'll go over the Venmo, the Amazon wish list, all the things that I'm supposed to implore you to do that I'm not going to bother because you can just read the ticker. Be back in a minute. The mic is off. It's on now. Fuck. I do that every stream. Every stream. Every one.
God damn it.
Alright, well, we're back. It's cold as fuck, so that was a quick cigarette. Bring that house music down a little bit.
Who reported my post? I got zucked.
Jin's having some Facebook drama. Alright. So, the hair's still drying.
Okay.
So, what are we going to do? What do we want to do? Burp, burp, burp. Let's...
That wash really brought out the details in her hair.
Yeah, it's really nice. We'll bring them out even more here in a little bit.
Okay.
So, what do we want to do? I think we can work on the skin a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's start bringing the skin up, and we're going to do that with that same...
Okay, that's still a little wet.
Yeah, I just want to do just one more, like another drop in there just to give us a little bit more to work with. There we go. Now, what we want to do is we essentially want to paint everything that isn't going to be a shadow in the same color we started with a pointy brush.
With a pointy brush.
With a pointy brush. She's a bit too small to do this with a dry brush. So you're going to get a little bit of paint on your brush, and you're basically going to take most of it off.
Okay.
You still want a little bit of paint in your brush. We're not quite dry brushing, but I kind of want you to just watch what I'm doing. I need to put this back on the... There we go. I kind of want you to just watch what I'm doing here. I'm going to go across the top of the thigh here. You see how little paint I'm putting down?
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. Just
the
a
top of the
little,
thigh. Okay.
tiny, itty-bitty bit at a time. Just the lightest of paint strokes. And just following the shapes of the body. I find it very strange that our Dryad here was sculpted without a belly button.
She wasn't born.
That's true. That's a fair point. Why, thank you, John. John says, speaking as a man whose wife is also way out of his league.
Yeah. Okay. Painting lightly.
Very, very lightly.
What am I doing?
Just,
the leg and what? No?
just following the shapes of the body. I've done this kind of like... Cobra. God.
God.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
The cat just rocked the basement.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Holy shit.
This is what I have to deal with.
It's so bad. I'm so sorry. It's like a toddler took a crap in the litter box.
Yeah. He's about the size of a toddler.
I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay.
And the idea that we're working towards here is on the outer edges of these shapes, it should be a little fuzzy.
Okay.
And on the inside of these shapes, you can go opaque. And the arms are kind of my favorite because you got these muscle shapes and you can just follow those. But you're not going to want to go all the way into the brown where she's transitioning out of the tree. And I haven't forgot about those spots. We're still going to do something there. Hell. A weird like mold line issue, I think, on the top of one of my boobs.
Oh no, mine too. I think I'm gonna paint it as a vine or something.
I'm not even gonna read.
With
I'm
a
not
voice like
I'm not
honey
going to
dripping.
justify
What?
that.
What is that?
I think John's flirting with me.
Get it. Get him. I'm trying to convince him to do an OnlyFans.
I mean, this kind of is an OnlyFans. You can subscribe. I do things for money.
Yeah, okay, fair point.
You see what I was kind of saying outside, where comparing it a little bit to
Dry brushing?
a little bit to dry brushing, but we were just using like the very end of your brush.
Yes.
Excuse me. God, it just lingers. That cat just...
Yeah.
Oh.
Nope. Yep. Did the Michigan no yapping.
A little bit more opaque there. You already see kind of we're giving that skin depth.
Yes. I see what you're saying with the... when you do the wash underneath it and then kind of bringing it up again.
Yeah, we're bringing most of it back up to that original color we painted it. Stole a makeup brush from Taylor and tried dry brushing with it. Oh, I have a whole collection of eyeshadow brushes that I dry brush with. They're awesome. This model is just a little bit too small to do that with. Greta, if you need to seek vengeance, I have John's address.
They are sacred.
There we go. Now it's looking like I'm doing something.
I'm glad yours is, because I can't tell the difference in mine.
Then try it with just a little bit more paint on your brush.
What do you think?
I can see a difference.
Okay.
Because yours is already a little paler than mine.
Okay.
Like I've gone a little bit lighter. It still looks good, though. You can see that the shadows where they, like here and here.
Okay.
Alright. Now, I want to do something real quick. I've covered up a little bit of my transition into wood a little bit too much. So I want to bring that back up the arm a little bit. That's better. Yeah. We're doing, yeah, do the same thing. I like to take even more paint off my brush when I do the face. Just the gentlest of lines. Across the forehead, down the nose. Hit the cheekbones and the chin. Basically, where you would contour. Starting to look like a face. Vengeance will have to wait another day. Alright, now,
Okay.
I'm going to give us a lighter skin tone. This is actually a slightly duller skin tone, too. It's not quite as warm. And we're going to do the same thing, but less. I talked about before how you do 90 or 100% of the square one color, and then
Yes.
90% the next color,
Mm-hmm.
90% the next color. We're on that second 90%. So even less paint on the brush, less paint on the mini, and a little, you know, again, you want just the lightest of brush strokes, just enough to put paint down. Dot on that D. You can see like on the top of my leg there, just the lightest bit. And when you're highlighting the butt, you want to focus on the top. Get her little back muscles here, across the arm. And when you do the face with this color, you just want to do the nose and the chin. Her hair is pretty much covering everywhere else you'd want to put that color.
The nose.
Now,
Not on the forehead or anything?
no.
Okay.
Because the nose and the chin are the bits that stick out the farthest.
Okay.
So they're the bits that are going to get the most light.
Okay.
Now, I want to try something. And if this doesn't work, I'll go back and fix it. But I want to try it. I want to give her lipstick.
Ooh.
It's terrifying.
All right. I'll be right back. I can't pee outside like you.
Not with that attitude. Slap the devil out of that brush. So you know what? It needs it. That kind of worked. It kind of worked. I'm not crazy about it, but it kind of worked. I might be able to dress it up a little bit. Okay. How you doing, Shu the Mighty? I hope you're mighty good. I am, while I'm up here fucking with the face, trying and failing to do eyeliner. I just don't think that's gonna fly. Fuck. Mike, how are you, sir? Hey, that worked pretty good. All right. Now that I've got it, looking pretty good, I'm gonna do something dangerous and maybe fuck it up. No, I didn't hear a gunshot.
Fun times.
Eyeball.
West Dayton. Sweet. Okay. Did you do lipstick?
I did.
Okay.
It kind of worked.
Gotcha.
Just a little glaze of green over the lips.
Okay.
Just to make her look a little bit green on the lips.
Going to try to get some of this and do the same thing.
Here. Use... What green did I use? Just very carefully and very gently. Lovely. I like your bright green lips more than I like my pale green lips.
Okay.
All right.
Doing eyes?
Eyeballs. I used this green.
Okay.
And just the tippiest
The tippy?
of that brush.
Oh.
This is one of my crazy tight detail brushes.
Okay.
Just the littlest, tiniest bit of paint.
Oh, these are terrible to open.
Aren't they?
Oh my gosh.
That's why I want to transition into using, or it's one of the reasons I want to transition, into using dropper bottles.
All right, eyeballs. Glad I didn't do it then.
Yeah. I'm simulating a cat jumping on the table.
No. Oh Lord, that looks so bad.
Welcome to eyeballs. All right, stop.
Okay.
All right, before you go forward,
Okay.
take a little bit of skin tone and see if you can't paint, just very, very gently, paint the skin tone around the eye rather than trying to cover it and do the eye again. Trust me, I have done More eyeballs like that than you could possibly imagine. Exactly as you just did.
Hang on. All right. No, I done fucked it up now.
No, you didn't.
Okay. Does it look okay?
Yeah, you just need to bring the bottom lid a little bit higher.
Okay.
Like half a width of that brush. John says him too, and he's a pro. He's a professional. He does this for a living. I mean, you could... A living is a stretch. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, eyes are fucking tough.
Goodness. Okay.
That is, they're not easy, and on these Reaper minis that were the
Did
scale...
you do both eyes?
No, I just did the right eye. Because the left eye is just covered enough by hair that it hides in the shadow, and who gives a fuck?
Okay.
That's
All
kind of
right.
where I'm at.
Okay.
All right.
Are we gonna try to do pupil or no?
No.
Come on, we could do it. We could just.
You know
like,
what? Fucking...
7 hairs.
There's some black paint.
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it.
Do it. I love you. Fucking fearless, ladies and gentlemen. Fearless.
I'm gonna fuck it up. Oh, good lord. Okay. It's like.
Yeah, it is the
Literally.
ittiest bittiest of brushes. Is that the Psycho or is that the Insane? That's the Insane. I have an even smaller one.
Oh my lord. Okay. Now, I used to be able to draw on rice, so this should be so easy.
You'd think. All right. Well, if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
Oh no! You saw nothing. You saw nothing.
Yeah, she's kind of like wonk-eyed a little bit. Mine is anyway.
Mine just turned into a really angry face.
See? I've done worse.
Okay. She has an eye.
And if you got one, how many more do you need? Really?
Right? You can't be a pirate with all of your parts.
Greta, did you hear what she just said?
There. I did both eyes.
You booger.
You don't have to.
Just drop it in one of those holes. See, what are we gonna do now? Well, let's do something fun. Let's do something fun. We're gonna take, not that one. We're gonna take this green, and that kind of same technique where we're kind of almost dry brushing with. Well, we could use that green that's already out. It's the same fucking green. God damn it. She just said, my wonderful, fabulous partner just said, and reminded me of years gone by, that you can't be a pirate with all of your parts. All right, I am going to do her fingertips green, kind of fading back
Okay.
into the...
What brush are you using? A little itty bitty one?
I'm just using a... I don't know what I'm using.
Okay.
I'm using a detail brush, but you could do this with your with your pointy brush.
Yeah, the pointy brush.
So that it kind of just looks like her finger, like she's green at the fingertips,
Oh, I like that idea.
and then like it fades back into the skin tone. And we'll reinforce it with some wash. And glaze it up a little bit. Because now that I've done a little bit of it and I'm looking at it, I think it needs to be a little darker at the tips. What to do. I'll try this. If I fuck it up, then I fuck it up. Yeah, there we go. I used this green and just did the very tips of the fingers.
I'm getting crazy over here.
Oh shit, you're going nuts. See, I was going to do that with a wash. That was where we were going to go next.
Okay, all right. So what am I doing now?
Take that and do the very tips of her fingers.
Okay.
That way it looks like it goes from, hey, Satyr. Yep, dueling painters tonight. And by dueling, I mean we're painting the same thing, the same colors. This is my partner, Jen. This is Jen's first mini that she is ever painting.
Okay. Fingers, green.
Yeah. Our military shader. Yeah, we've still got some of that military shade out. Ooh, that's fun. Take a little bit of that military shader on your pointy brush like that, and just do those green fingertips.
Okay, where's the green one? This one?
That one, yeah. As a matter of fact, that same thing that you were just doing with the green paint, do with the military shader. Helps to wet your brush just a little bit. Because even though this is wash and it's already super thin for what we're doing, it helps to thin it a little bit more.
Okay.
That way, we're gonna start at where it's darkest brown and just kind of feather up into the skin tone. You do want it to pass the brown and go into the skin.
I feel like I need a bigger brush for that.
Like hunting for sharks. We're gonna need a bigger brush. And then do the same thing to that arm that's coming out of the tree. Oh right, we need to bring those fingers out, don't we? We can absolutely do that. That is not going to be a problem. And essentially, we're using the wash as a glaze to transition from the brown into the skin tone. And then there's a bit down here by her left thigh.
I see that. That's like a vine, I think, that I didn't paint.
I'd done it brown, but I kind of want to wash it green and bring it up again for that transition from tree to Dryad proper. And then just because we haven't done it yet, we're going to take just a drop of our of a slightly tanner flesh, a bit more brown flesh than what we've been using.
Okay.
And we're going to paint on nipples.
Yeah.
At least one. One of them seems to be... Well, yeah, we can do both. That might not be dark enough. I think it might be dark enough, but it's also very, very subtle. Yeah, not dark enough. Not dark enough. So I'll try something else.
Okay, where is that dark that you're using for nipples?
Okay, I ended up using this.
Now, what do you do? Dry brush it? Or
Just dot.
just dots? Okay.
Now, on one of her breasts, a strand of her hair is actually going over her nipple.
Mm-hmm.
So I just made sure to make the dot big enough that I can paint that strand of hair and still have a little bit of that dark brown showing on either side if you really look for it. Like that.
My boobs look wonky.
That's okay. They're cousins, not sisters. Or is it sisters, not twins. I don't know. Boobs are weird.
Boobs are weird.
I thought about giving her green nipples, but thought that might be a step too far.
You know what? I like it. I wish I would have done it.
Well, just paint over them that lightest skin tone and do them again. Alright, I'm over here plotting and scheming.
For?
Bringing out the fingers. The ones that are turning to wood, or turning from wood. Okay, yeah, I like that. We're just going to go into that color that we highlight, or dry brushed the tree.
Uh-huh.
That tan there.
Yeah.
And just paint a line down each finger. See? Like that.
No, because I can't see you. There you go. Okay. The tan or the brown?
The tan.
Okay. And you're going to paint down each finger.
Each finger. And because everything else kind of has that green tint over it, this will really cause the fingers to stand out. Like that.
Wait, which hand are you doing?
That one.
That one, okay.
Boobs and eyebrows. Weird and will never match. It'd be weird if your eyebrows matched your boobs. Alright, I want to go in and do a second round of wash transition from the brown to the flesh.
Okay.
So I just don't think it showed up enough. So we'll do a second layer. And this time we'll feather it out just a little bit farther to really like stack it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. That looks better. Just a little bit more green transitioning out of the brown.
Okay.
Is what I did. If you're happy with the way yours looks, by all means. Okay. Now we're going to get into some fun shit. What if your boobs and your eyebrows matched? Would your boobs match your eyebrows, or would your eyebrows match your boobs?
I'm fucking up her hand over here.
Okay.
How do
So
I
here's-
fix that?
We're going to take a little bit of green.
It's
Right.
kind of wet still.
Okay.
Okay.
A little bit of green. And we're just going to come up and just give each one just a bright green dot. And that'll bring it back out of the mud. See?
I see it. Okay.
Just the light it. You don't have to do even a lot. Just that much.
Okay.
Just a little dot. And that brings it back out.
All right.
All right. Now, we need a bright green. There we go. Let's get some snake scales. Oh, Nick. Oh, I just burnt in my brain. I burned you so good. Because in my brain, I would never say this out loud unless you were within punching range of me. But now I've said it on the internet. So your boobs do match your eyebrows because you don't have eyebrows. Oh, I'm terrible. I think Jen just dumped me. All right, we're gonna get a nice bright green.
All right.
We're not doing a lot with it right
What are you
now.
doing?
We're gonna take just the tip. We're going back to that, just barely any paint on the brush.
Okay.
And we're just gonna take bits of our viney bits on the knife
Okay.
and just give them a little bit of bright green.
Okay.
You don't have to do all of it. You don't even have to do the whole line. Just pick little bits for here and there. You are welcome, Nick. God, I'm proud of that one. Or would you need to wear a bra to see, or would you need to pluck your boobs?
Oh my god.
I almost just dropped this brush on your head.
I mean, it's not like it wouldn't match.
It's a fair point.
It's green. That's really pretty. I want to put highlights in her hair that color. That's really bright.
We're gonna. But not yet.
Oh, okay, okay. You get so pumped.
Please never put pluck and boobs in the same sentence ever again. Hey, I don't kink shame, so. You dated a girl once that had to pluck her boobs? I think I might have dated her too, actually. Why do I keep picking up that green? I already have some of that green down.
Green. We put way too much than we needed.
Well, I put it right in a puddle, so. All right, so first we're going to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know. When you get caught up, it's fine.
Okay. What are we doing?
Before we do highlights in the hair, I want to do a mid-tone, which means I want to take that same green.
Okay.
And I just want to pick some strands out. A lot of them, you know.
Using a pointy?
Yeah, using a pointy, and we're just following the lines of the hair, bringing some of her hair up to that brighter green. We don't want to do all of it. You want, you know, some of that darker green that we washed to still show. Okay. And you want it, you know, uneven. You want it a little bit of everywhere.
You're off camera.
Had to or chose to. I think the answer there, Greta, is yes. And, you know, this way that we've got, so far, we now have a mix of 3 different greens in the hair.
Right. Not all of the hair, just some of it.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of each green kind of all over the place.
Okay.
Because, you know, she's plant. It's sporadic. It's feral.
It's my type of girl.
No, without a doubt. Without a doubt, Greta. Without a doubt. I don't judge if people have to pluck their boobs. I see a shrug emote. I see shrugs. Let's see what it looks like on Twitch. On my streaming app, it looks like somebody trying to pull their ears out. Had to check some things. Alright. Looks like somebody trying to pull their ears out to me. You feeling happy about that hair?
I'm not liking her face. There's something up with my face. Like that area right there.
Okay, yeah, that's just a roll. Like, it's a lump of paint.
Okay. Alright, well, it's there now.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, so now we can go in with that bright green and do some highlights in the hair.
Okay. Ready. I'm ready.
Switch running to my PS4. Oh. You know, when I had my computer running through my TV, I could barely see Twitch. So there's one spot I definitely want you to put a green highlight, and that is this line that comes up to the nipple.
But my nipples are already green.
Oh. Well, that strand of hair, that's right up in the light. That definitely needs a highlight, or everything else is going to look weird.
Okay.
And then when I do bright highlights in hair like that, I want to frame... I generally frame the face in them.
Okay.
Like I do one down each side of the face. And then I kind of turn her around, and then I just pick some random spots. Some random lines in the hair to paint bright green. Lovely.
Okay.
Pardon? There we go. And I tend to keep my highlights away from the crown of the head.
Okay.
Kind of a dark roots situation. But that's just me, really. You can do to her hair whatever you would like. I'm not doing a lot of this bright green. Just enough to kind of sell the idea a little bit.
And when you don't have a whole lot on your brush, you just have to just keep going back.
Mm-hmm. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm just going in and I'm just doing a quick and dirty highlight on the flowery bits.
Okay.
So that I can see them. And decide what flowery bits I want to paint as flowery bits and which ones I want to do as leaves. This just helps me see what I'm doing. It's an entirely unnecessary step. Alright. I stay out of frame, Nick. I'm constantly in and out of frame when I'm by myself. It's hard enough when we're trying to keep two people in frame here.
There's little leaves down here that I can see.
What? Oh yeah, there are, aren't there? Good eye. I didn't see those. That'll go quite a ways towards the vision that this tree is alive.
Yeah, a lot. Well, the picture of us, my in camera, out of camera, the picture of us, and then also your slideshow is giving you
less,
like,
less frame. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about her. How about you?
I'm very proud of what I've been able to accomplish so far with excellent direction.
Flower time. I want a pink flower.
Okay.
Do I have... I do. I have pinks in the droppers. Lovely. As far as I can tell, there's only one flower up there. The rest are just kind of leaf shapes.
Okay.
So I'm going to do this flower pink, and then I'm just going to highlight the edges with a brighter pink. Maybe even a white.
Which one are you doing?
It's that one.
Over on this side. Okay.
You know what? There are these two leaf shapes here, and we'll make them pink too. Alright, we'll let that dry for just a second, because we're getting down to the nitty-gritty details.
The nittiest of the gritty.
The nittiest of gritty details. And instead of a white highlight, ooh, no, we're gonna make this even more complicated. Excuse me.
Okay, sorry.
I need to put that in a wet spot. Oh, come on. There we go. Just a little tiniest dot.
Oh my goodness.
We don't need much. Because
What are you doing?
I just want to do a fairly wide highlight around the edges.
Okay.
So I'm painting most of these shapes and leaving just the inside, the darker pink. And then I'll do like the tip corners in an almost white. That's looking quite lovely. Where
You
is
have a
it?
pinky white? I think that looks like it
Yeah.
would be it.
I'm just going to do the very tips. Little white dots. Those little leafy bits on the tree that you spotted,
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed that they go all the way up the tree.
We do?
Well, you've already painted them.
Oh, yes. I act like I know what I'm doing. Oh, yes, of course, yes.
Hey, acting like I know what I'm doing is half of mini painting. The other half is admitting you don't know what you're doing and doing it anyway. Lovely.
Gorgeous, darling, gorgeous.
fucked up on mine.
I'm pretty proud of my little person here. Okay.
I've messed her skin up somewhere.
Where?
On her leg. I'm trying to figure out how I can fix it best.
I'm using some of that wash in the transition of the tree to her thigh.
Mm-hmm. I just wasn't super crazy about how mine looked transition-wise, so I'm just reshaping some things. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And that, unless I can find something else for us to paint, is the model itself. And now we get to do the base.
Yay.
And I've been looking forward to this because I think you're really going to enjoy this.
Yours definitely has way better shadow than mine does.
Will you hand me, find in one of those, the kind of most beat up brush you can.
A little one or a big one?
Medium size.
Okay.
So basically bigger than the ones we've been using.
Okay. Oh, you got the stuff! When did you get the stuff?
Oh, I've had it.
That's exciting. I also have stuff. Mine's way bigger than mine, though.
Yeah.
Right? I gotta go cook. You take care, you crazy kids.
I'll do no such thing, John. No such thing. Alright. That should be what I'm looking for right there. Could probably go with a little bit more flocking. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing Elmer's glue and flocking.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take my brush and just dab it on like this.
On your hand.
On the mini. I'm just demonstrating on my hand. We're going to just dab it on. And I kind of think I want a smaller brush for this. That we're going to need smaller brushes for this. Give me like a small fat one.
Small fat.
Perfect.
I will also look for a small fat one.
Don't forget there is a whole nother thing of brushes over there. Okay. Not keen on how that worked, so we're gonna do it. We're going back to plan A.
Makeup brush.
So there is a fuckload of flocking in this glue, and you're just gonna paint the glue on the base with the flocking already in it.
Okay.
We're trying a new thing.
Okay. Experimenting for science.
For science. This is not the kind of flocking that you can really make moss with.
Okay. I have moss.
You do have moss. We're gonna
Sorry,
be
we should
we're gonna be
probably get
using
in
it.
camera.
We're gonna be using your moss, but first we gotta get glue on the base. And I wanted to put some flocking in the glue to give it some undergrowthy kind of texture.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's like
It's super thick and gloopy. I'm gonna be going back and double checking my source on how to do this. When you're done, just rinse it off in the cup vigorously.
vigorously.
Vigorously. You don't want to leave any glue in the brush.
Okay.
But it is just Elmer's glue, so, you know, no worries.
How much do I want on there?
A good solid covering.
Okay. Do you want me to go get more moss?
No, we have more than enough moss.
Okay.
So we got these big pieces, right? that we're going to use as kind of foliage and bushes and ferns, and just kind of press them right into the base.
Okay, I'm going to break mine up a little bit.
And you don't want to cover the whole base. Just, you know, a little bit around the tree there. Get in there, fucker. And then we're going to do this.
Look, I'm finger painting. Okay.
And now we're going to take our mini off. Oh, no, we're not.
You're not.
We're going to just pinch up flocking like so and just sprinkle it.
Okay. I'm sprinkling. What is this made out of?
It's basically just AstroTurf. But this you want to cover the base in. Really just like fucking get it in there. You want to do this over the container as best as possible. Because that way when it falls right back into the container. And the glue is going to hold all that on. Like so.
I love it.
Do you love it?
I really love it. I'm going to take some of this with my finger.
That's a good idea.
And put it up here.
I like that. Let's both do that.
I'm going to have some mossy bits growing up a little bit.
See, I think this flocking might be a little bit too big to properly look like moss.
Where'd that one little shot? Did it fall? Yeah. There we go.
Alright, and I'm actually going to be calling that
A day?
done.
Calling it done.
We're calling that done.
That's awesome. I'm super happy. Yes!
Our two dryads painted, based, flocked, ready to rock and roll.
Excellent, teacher.
Awesome. How do you feel about it, Jen?
I
How
want
do you
to
feel
do
about
another one.
your first mini you've ever painted? You want to do another one? You want to do it right now? I've got more primed.
Oh my god.
I have so many primed minis. You can paint the blue or you can paint the Tarrasque, and I'll paint the.
When he says that, like, you don't understand. It's
Grab the Tarrasque.
Like as big as my head.
Get that Tarrasque. Get that Tarrasque.
I'm gonna get it.
Get that
I'm gonna get
Tarrasque.
it. Oh my god, please don't break on me.
That's a mini, right there. That's a mini. Let's compare.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
The Dryad. That's ground level. That's ground to ground level right there. Yeah. I can fit her entire D&D character's mini in the mouth of this Tarrasque. That is, I think, I can't remember how many pieces it was. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces to print. I was printing this for almost 2 weeks.
Yes.
And it doesn't, like, it's got huge gaps in it that I gotta fix. I'm never gonna fucking paint that thing.
Yes, you will. That's what you should do. Sub goal. You'll paint the Tarrasque.
Ooh, that'd be a good sub goal for the next sub goal. So, before we wrap up, let's talk about the goals again. Let's go back over that. So, we are doing a donation drive and a sub goal for December. The donation drive is to replace my external hard drive that I broke when I had an unsupervised spill. It's right there. It doesn't work. It has hundreds of dollars of 3D printable minis on it that I no longer have access to. So, I am taking donations. You can go to twitch.tv/dungeonbrush, go to the About section, and click on Donate to helping me get not just a new hard drive, but also getting paying somebody who's smarter than me to move the files from the one that doesn't work onto the one that will. You can help with that by going to donate on the About section on twitch.tv/dungeonbrush. You can also donate via donation to Venmo, which is on the ticker that will scroll by momentarily. You can also donate by going to the About section and going to the Amazon wish list. There is a hard drive on there. Hint.
So subtle.
Yeah, I'm a subtle guy. But then there's also like all the paints we use, all the brushes, all the little gubbins and things. And there's stuff to make the channel. All of the Amazon stuff goes straight back into the channel. All of the donations go right back into the channel. And finally, follow, subscribe. We are doing a subscription goal. We are currently, how close are we? I think we need 9 more subscriptions before Christmas to get our 20 subscription goal. And that will, when we hit that goal, we're going to do a special mini painting episode where I paint an entire mini with nothing but finger painting. No brushes allowed. It'll just be finger painting. It's going to be weird. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be gross. It's going to be ugly, but it's going to be fun. And we just need 9 more subscriptions to do that. We're hoping to get that done before Christmas. Follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/dungeon_brush. There should be social media links in the About section on Twitch. This has been my lovely partner, Jen. They're fantastic. I love you.
I had so much fun.
That was her very first mini. Right there. Very first one. And hopefully we'll have Jen back on. Paint more stuff. Also, she's going to be starting a cooking stream, so go follow Nish_Nosh_Bish. You've seen her in the channel before. You know where she's at. What else? What am I missing? We done Amazon, we did Venmo, we did donations, we did subs.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. I'm still planning on doing more streams during the day, during the week. This last week, like Thursday, Friday, and yesterday when I was supposed to be streaming this, just did not work out. We had a hell of a weird week, but I'm gonna be trying again next week. So keep an eye out. I'm streaming to Facebook, to Twitch, and to YouTube. But if you're watching anywhere but Twitch, you are getting a subpar experience. So come over to Twitch. Sign up for Twitch. It's free. Subscribe to Dungeon Brush. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription to a single Twitch channel every single month. So you can use your Amazon Prime to subscribe to Dungeon Brush. It counts towards the goal. I get a little bit of a kickback.
It's free.
It is free to you with your Amazon Prime subscription, and it helps me out a ton. What else? Oh, on the screen right about here is going to be a little Amazon button. You can click that and get some paint gubbins of your own. You can get some brushes, some paints, some bits and bobs that I recommend that I use on the stream to paint some minis yourself. I get a little bit of a kickback every time you buy something by clicking that link, so please do that. That's very kind of you. Yeah,
They'll be on Instagram.
The models will be on Instagram probably tomorrow. I want to let them dry and cure overnight before I set them up on my little photo booth thing. So keep an eye out for that too.
Oh shit, is this stream going to be taken down because of nipples?
The stream might be taken down because we did paint nipples on some miniatures, which is maybe possibly against Twitch terms of service, but frankly, nobody watches this. Who cares? If it gets taken down a year from now, who gives a fuck? It'll still be on YouTube. So you can just search Dungeon Brush, one word, on YouTube, and you can find the VODs, the video on demands of the streams. This one, the last one, and the one before that. When I started streaming them to YouTube, all of those are saved on YouTube. So if this gets taken off Twitch because of itty bitty tiny plastic nipples, then go find it there. All right. I love you guys. This has been so much fun.
Nice
this has
to
been
meet
an
you.
absolute blast. I'm going to clean this mess up and go smoke like half a pack of cigarettes. It's dinner time.
The
oh.
Cheetos mac and cheese
Oh, yeah.
is fucking awesome, by the way.
The Cheeto, like, Cheetos makes mac... We've talked about this on the stream before because because I had it before we moved in.
Oh, that's right.
You made me
we
some
had
before a
tons of-
stream, and it was really fucking good. It's so weird. Anyway,
Just wanted to
eat
throw
mac
that
and
in there.
cheese, watch Dungeon Brush, give me your money. Love you guys. Have a good night. Where's the button? There it is.